Good afternoon. God bless you. So glad you're joining us today. I believe this is a day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad of it because He's really in charge. If He didn't make it and allow the things to live or speak to them, nothing will be in the day. And so we are in this day, and so it's the day He has made. He has the plans to prosper us in all things that we do. So today I'm going to go have like a little series again about 3 things I'm going to teach at different times. But I want to bring the first part to you, and I think it's very important. Last time I told you, I said we need to pray, we need to intercede, and lastly, we need to war. But you have to have the first in order in the right place before you can do the last or the second. So prayer is important. We all should be praying. The Bible tells us that every man should pray and not cease or stop. And so it's important for us to communicate with our God. From that time, we need to listen. Secondly, after we're praying, most of us only talk. When we get done talking, we get up and usually leave from where we're at without ever hearing what God has to say. And we most of the time miss a very important part of prayer because it says, as you abide in me and my word abide in you, you can ask what you will according to that word in John 15. So you realize something that's very important to realize, the fact that you need to listen once you get done praying. It would be bad if you're communicating with somebody and you finish talking what you want and you get up and leave and they never get to put their part into there. Well, this is what happens many times in prayer. Second thing we need to do really is intercede. And most of the time we don't really understand intercession. And so today I'm going to try the next few times, I'm going to try to bring understanding about intercession and what's so important. I think Pastor Jeff has said this in his own quotes many times. He said the fact if the world ever needs the church to pray, it is now. Even if they don't want us to pray, even if they don't care if we don't pray, the world needs us to pray. The Bible tells us also that the peace of the city that we have, that we live in, is our peace. And according to how we do pray and intercede for that city that we're sent to, so shall we have the harvest of peace ourselves. So we need to look at that and keep that in mind even as we move forward. So there was a quote that was said by this one man, Mr. Gordon. He said, you can do more than pray after you have prayed. So you have to pray first before you can do more. But you cannot do more than pray until you have prayed. So you have to pray first before you can do more. Most of us trying to do more without praying. Prayer is striking the winning blow, and that's the most important, the winning blow. You touch God, you get in contact with Him. He comes in the midst of you, what you're praying about, and moves with you. The prayers of God's saints are the capital stock of heaven by which God carries on His great work upon the earth. It's so important to realize our prayer is God's capital stock of heaven, and we need to have that communication with God for God to move in our midst to begin to deal with the circumstance and situation. I believe right now we're in a very height situation. We see the things that have happened, the COVID-19. So the stirring up, you see the riots as well as you see the peaceful marches. And all this is happening all at the same time, and it's keeping a major stir. But I really believe it's the greatest time for the church to step forth and be what it needs to be. The world cannot fight against the demons. They can more or less just submit and be taken over. But the church has the authority and the power to back the demons up and cease their maneuvers. And so the church needs to begin to step in its place. So God conditions the very life and prosperity of His calls on our prayers. That's how so important it is. There are 3 things God wanted man to do on the earth. 3 things He wants him to accomplish. So He'll make it so that he can live peacefully in the earth. The first is to have dominion on the earth. It says here in Genesis 1:26, and God said, let us make man in our image and also after our likeness. So man is spirit. It is not flesh. Most people think it is. But when He speaks of man, He's talking about something in His likeness, which is a spirit. And it also says man in our image and our likeness. 2 very important things. But both of those things let you know man is spirit. And let them have dominion. He will eventually take the one man and put him in 2 houses. This begins the process. Most of us put more stock on the house than we do the man that's in the house. It says, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So this man that's in God's image is the one that God gave dominion. It matters not what house. It matters that the man who is spirit in the likeness, that likeness of God, is the one dominion was given to first. Therefore, what the house is, it matters not, because the dominion comes from there. Dominion notes the word man is in Genesis 1:26 refers to the spirit being created in his image. It's so important to understand this, because sometimes we get so confused. We'll start talking that women have no authority, they have no right to take dominion. But if you don't understand fully what the scriptures say, you get confused. So God took the one man who is spirit and placed him in two houses. Why? The house is to fulfill whatever is in the spirit man in the first place. They say it's a man's world. It is. Not a male man, but a man's world. That is made in God in image. So to have a dominion means to govern, to rule, to subdue, to control, to manage, to lead, and to administrate. So when God gave this man in his image dominion, he was giving him all those things. He wanted him to govern. He wanted him to rule. He wanted him to subdue. He wanted him to control what was happening. And so today the question comes, is the church moving in its total dominion? As we see the world go into total chaos, it's the world, not even just America. The world is being affected by so many things. And I believe it's a cry for the church itself to come forth and be what it needs to be. First thing we notice is that that dominion mandate was given to man, not just to the male. Next thing God did, he blessed him. You cannot prosper, I've noticed this, in everything that God did in the Bible. He would usually bless the man or woman of God, and then that blessing releases a ability to prosper in whatever God meant for him to do. Genesis 1:28, and God blessed him. There you see, you have it. And God said unto them, be fruitful. They couldn't be fruitful without God's blessings. So it's very important at this time, as we move forward, that you understand God has given the church dominion. And God is desiring the church to take that dominion and begin to apply it in the earth. And we need to meet the forces of darkness. We are to meet those things that are happening in the earth. We are the ones that are supposed to make the difference. So I just encourage you now, take the time to pray. Take the time to begin to move into intercession. Take the time to move into things that God has for you. And watch the fruit around you change, because the earth is crying for us to rise up and be what we need to be. And so are the people on the earth. All right. God bless you.